Hey, what's going on, everyone? So right now, I'm about 4 weeks out from a fitness photo shoot where I'm hiring a professional photographer to get photos of me that I can use for social media, business, etc. And today I want to walk you through a day and a week in the life of what I'm doing and what I'm focusing on specifically over the next several weeks to get ready for the photo shoot. And for those who don't know who I am, my name is Luke Briggs. I'm the owner of the Total Life Fitness Academy. We specialize in helping parents and busy professionals lose body fat, build muscle, and have more energy. I've been a coach for over 10 years, and I've worked with nearly 3,000 clients. Also, if you want to figure out how to eat better on the weekends, if you're always struggling with the weekends, you always have kids stuff, the summer's coming up, you got cookouts, barbecues, you're getting invited over to a lot of people's houses, you're going out to restaurants, you're sitting outside, you're going on vacations. Eating can be more challenging on the weekends for a lot of people. That's why I created a free weekend eating checklist. It's a 3-page checklist. You literally just look at it and it gives you super simple tips for you to stay on track on Saturday and Sunday. So you're not waking up on Monday morning, having gained 5 pounds and wondering what's happened. So in order to get that checklist, all you need to do is just join our free Facebook group called the Total Life Fitness Community. If you just go to the show notes, you just scroll down on the podcast you're listening to right now, right at the bottom, you join our Total Life Fitness Community Facebook group. It's right there. And then we can get you added to the group and you can get access to your free weekend eating checklist there. So check it out. It's in the show notes. So the official photo shoot that I'm doing is on June 3rd. And we decided on that date. I was originally thinking July, but we have some things as a family that we want to do this summer. And for those who don't know, training for a photo shoot, even if it's like a fitness photo shoot. So basically what that is, I'm posing for different photos in tank tops, with my shirt off, showing off abs, things like that. And it requires a lot of discipline and focus to train for that. And it can be very selfish because, I can't really like eat out at a restaurant or go on vacation or things like that. And the reason is not because there aren't healthy options there. It's because when you're training for a photo shoot, you're following certain macronutrient goals: proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. And if you're eating out at a restaurant or something like that, the exact macronutrients are just going to be estimates and aren't going to really be that exact. So I want to make sure that they are precise so I can get optimal results for this. And we have some things that we have planned this summer, like vacations, day trips, things like that. I want to make sure that our family is able to fully enjoy that, and I fully participate in it as well. So that's why I made the photo shoot a little bit earlier. Right now, I'm at 179 pounds. I started my cut at about 207 pounds. Last time I did a photo shoot, which was in June of 2021, I was 157 pounds, which for me was pretty light. So I wanted to be bigger this time around when I was doing a photo shoot and gain more muscle. So I basically did a bulking phase, and now I'm doing a cutting phase. And my current macronutrients are protein. I'm taking in 235 grams per day. This is assigned by my coach. Fats, I'm taking in 65 grams per day. Carbohydrates, I'm taking in 175 grams per day. And that equates to 2,225 calories. Then every 10 days, I'm doing a refeed day where I'm doing 235 grams of protein, 80 grams of fat, and 300 grams of carbs. And that equates to 2,860 calories. So it's about, 650 calories more. And if you're listening right now and you're like, oh, that's what I need to follow, you do not need those macros. If you follow those macros, you probably will not get results. That's just what my body has adapted to over time and will work for me. And, I haven't had a ton of like extreme dieting phases recently or anything like that. I had a long off season where I built my calories up to over 4,000 calories, and now I'm cutting back down. So again, figure out your own calories. Don't just follow mine. So some things I'm doing differently this time. So I've done 2 other cut downs for a physique show or a photo shoot. My first one was in October of 2016. I had back-to-back days. I did a physique show in the men's physique division on a Saturday. I remember the exact date. It was October 1st, 2016. And then on October 2nd, 2016, I did a photo shoot at a gym the next day. And then I also cut down in 2021 to do a photo shoot again. So I basically took like, 4.5 year hiatus, and then not from training, but just from photo shoots in general. And then the last couple of years I've been bulking, and now I'm cutting back down. So things that I'm doing differently this time are, I did a much longer reverse diet where I gained more weight than I usually do because I wanted to have more muscle. And now that I'm cutting back down, the last couple of times I didn't really train my abs at all leading into the photo shoot. And that's what I'm doing this time, is I'm training my abs. So I've now been 18 days into this ab circuit that I'm doing, and I can definitely notice a little bit of a difference. And ab training really doesn't make that much of a difference from a physique standpoint, maybe from a strength standpoint, but or core strength standpoint, but from a physique standpoint, until you are at a fairly low body fat percentage. Because if you have a lot of belly fat, if you just do a bunch of ab exercises, your abs aren't really going to get sculpted or anything like that, because you still have a bunch of belly fat over it. So I did have a decent amount of belly fat previously, a few months ago when I was bulking. So now that I've gotten the belly fat off and I'm much leaner, the ab circuits definitely will do a lot more for me. So I've been doing that for the last couple of weeks, and we'll be doing it, continuing the last several weeks into the photo shoot. Also, another thing I did was I shaved my chest hair earlier. And not to be gross or anything like that, but definitely have some body hair. And in photo shoots, what you do is you shave your body hair for the photo shoot so that your body just looks cleaner, looks better in the photos. So now I've been able to kind of monitor and see my progress a little bit better. I've also been focusing on step tracking. So until the last couple of months, I've never really tracked my steps before, and I'd never had like a fitness tracker or a smartwatch or anything like that. And I got a fitness tracker a couple months ago. I have the Fitbit Versa. That's just the one that I chose. There are plenty out there that are good. And I've been tracking my steps. So right now I'm targeting 11,000 steps per day as per my coach. That's what she has me doing. So I've been focusing on step goals, and I've been making sure that I've been intentional about getting more movement in throughout the day. So things that I'll still need to do leading up to the photo shoot. I will need to get a spray tan probably a couple days before the photo shoot. And then I'll also need to get a list of photos together for the photographer, because going into a photo shoot, you need to make sure that you know what photos you're going to have or want to have going into it. Because if you just kind of wing it the day of, after the photo shoot gets over, you'll probably be like, oh crap, I forgot to take this, I forgot to take that. So I want to do some research, because I'm going to use a lot of these photos for like Facebook posts. I'm going to use, traditionally I've done like a lot more just like straight physique shots, but I'm going to do more lifestyle photos as well, where I'm in the kitchen, where I'm outdoors, where I'm doing some other stuff, just to make sure that I have more stock photos and images that I can use for social media posts, Instagram, YouTube thumbnails, things like that. And the great thing about these photos is I think a lot of people, they'll see these people in the photo shoots and they'll think they look like that all the time. And that is not the case. You just literally have one day, probably take 100+ photos, and then you have all those stock images for the next several years. I still use some of my stock images from 2016 sometimes. People don't know the difference. So if you do a photo shoot once, you can continue to use those images for years, and no one will be the wiser. Things that I'm noticing recently are that I'm feeling a little bit more confident in my appearance. So a few months ago, when I was 207 pounds, I'm 5'11", so I definitely put on a decent amount of muscle, but also put on some body fat, more body fat than I was used to putting on. And I'm going to be honest, when I was wearing like tight clothes, it was a little uncomfortable because my belly was poking out, and I didn't really feel comfortable like taking my shirt off or anything like that. Now I feel much more comfortable. So just because I'm used to being leaner, so it's a little bit different for me. And my face is definitely thinning out. I was looking at a video of myself recently compared to like a video from a few months ago, and I'm like, I can definitely see that I've leaned out in the face. That's usually the first place that you lean out, is in your face. So those are a couple things that I've noticed. Now I want to walk you through my current day in the life. So right now I get up at 5 a.m. Monday through Friday. At 5 a.m., my alarm goes off. I don't hit snooze, haven't hit snooze in years. I almost never feel like getting up. I just sit up in bed put my feet on the floor, then I stand up, and I do not allow myself to lie back down and fall back asleep, because then that wastes time and I'm not as productive. Then, get up, weigh myself. I drink a tall glass of water. Then what I do is I go for a 30-minute walk. And the reason why I do that is because I've noticed that if I don't get a lot of steps in early in the day, then it's much harder to hit my 11,000 step target. Then I do 1 hour of deep work where I work on things for the business, things for all of you who are listening here. Sometimes I script out podcasts and things like that. I'll admit there was one day this week where I didn't really do the deep work because our kids were up a lot earlier than usual. And I feel like even this week they've been getting up a little bit earlier. So for my son, I'll turn the TV on, and then my daughter was a little upset, so I was holding her. So that particular day didn't get as much done as intended, but it was okay. We got to spend a little bit more time with the kids that morning. Then get the kids ready, and then either I will drop them off or my wife will drop them off at daycare. And then I will do my workout plus my abs circuit. So right now I do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday strength training. And then Wednesday, I'll just be active and hit my 11,000 steps. I'll get, multiple walks in that day. And I do 3 upper body workouts, 1 lower body workout. Yes, if I train more days per week, might I get better results if I increase my volume a little bit? Yeah, but I'm okay with where I am right now. I don't really want to work out 5-6 days per week right now. I'm good with 4 days per week. So I do my ab circuit right when I do my training sessions. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, it's really easy for me to get my ab circuit in. I make sure that I do it at the beginning of the workout, because if I wait till the end of the workout when I'm a little bit more tired, it might be easier to say like, I'll skip this. I don't feel like doing it, and I'll just do it later. And then there have been a few days recently where I haven't done it earlier in the day on some of those off days from strength training. And then it gets to be the end of the day, and I realize it's like 8-9 o'clock at night. And I'm like, crap, I haven't done my ab circuit. And I think there was one day recently I did it at like 10 p.m. And I just waited way too long to do it. So I definitely prefer to do it earlier in the day versus waiting until the end of the day when I'm tired from the day. But I still made sure that I got it done, because I made a commitment that I was going to do them every day leading up to the photo shoot. So I do the ab circuit. It's just a simple body weight circuit. I just am modeling someone else who I follow who has abs as well. And, it's just 6 simple body weight exercises. I just do them basically till failure each time. And it's okay to go to failure, because I'm not training heavy weights or anything like that. But that's something that I've added in. So I do my workout in my abs, and then I eat my first meal after that, which is usually sometime between like 9 and 11, probably 9:30, 10, 10:30, somewhere in that range. My first meal, I eat the same thing every day, especially right now leading up to the photo shoot, just so the variable always stays the same. And that's just what works for me. I'm not saying you need to do that. That's just something that I've done that is effective for me. So I will have one of my meal delivery service meals, and then I will have I have the same thing every day. So then I have a sticky white rice, and then I have a scoop of protein powder. Then what I do is I go to work for the day. I sit a lot during the day doing things like, responding to our members, preparing things for our members, doing our marketing, chatting with people who are interested in the program, creating content for everyone, things like that. So those are the things I do throughout the day. Most of it involves me sitting down. A lot of people think, oh, you're a fitness coach, you must be working out all day. And that could not be further from the truth. Even though I actually do work inside a gym, I work inside our home gym, but I'm not sitting here working out all day. So then after I do a little bit of work, I'll have some lunch. I always have the same thing for lunch as well. I do my second meal delivery service meal, which is basically sliders with potatoes. The first one, what I'm doing right now, it's basically eggs, sweet potatoes, and I can't remember what else is in there, and ground beef. And then I also, for lunch, I will have plain Greek yogurt and put Crystal Light packets in there for flavor, because those are basically no calories, or just a few calories. I use like strawberry or fruit punch or one of those, and then I have the Greek yogurt, and then I'll go work for a while, get the kids, and then dinner is always, right now at least based on my current macros, 8 egg whites, And then I also do another protein shake, and then I'm good for the day. Yeah, maybe a little bit hungrier than usual, but not too bad. And one thing that I always remind myself is, I live in a first world country. I'm very blessed that I have access to all this food. I'm choosing to do this to myself. So if at any point I wanted to just eat more food, I could. There are people in other countries who don't even have food and have to like scavenge and hunt and, walk miles to get food or even water. So I'm very fortunate. So I always make sure I keep that perspective when I'm dieting down and I'm a little bit hungrier, because it's really not that big a deal. I mean, in fact, right now, as I'm recording this, I'm a little bit hungry as well, but it's absolutely fine. I'll be okay. Our body can live for weeks being hungry. So I'll be honest, my sleep could definitely be a little bit better. That's kind of been a recurring theme for me. But I still get, usually at least like 6.5 to 7 hours of sleep. For me as an entrepreneur, my mind is just always going all the time. I'm a very driven, motivated person. So, even last night, I'm just like staying up, listening to things, working on scripting out my day, scripting out ideas for business, and, working with our clients and things like that, how we can do things better. So for me, sometimes turning my brain off at the end of the day can be challenging, but for me, I always make sure I get, at least like 6.5 hours, 7 hours of sleep. Over the last couple of weekends, I've been very intentional about shutting off on the weekend, or especially this last weekend. So traditionally, I've had a rule the last couple of years. I have a 7 p.m. rule that after 7 o'clock, I can no longer check social media or email, because I will admit I have struggled a bit with the notifications or the constantly scrolling on my phone or checking email, or did this person message me or did that person message me, and I tend to be distracted when I've been around other people. So that really helps me shut it off a little bit more at night. And then I've also had a rule where all of Sunday I don't check social media or email at all, not at all. And I've been breaking that recently, so I'm working on getting it under control again. Because if I just like a couple weeks ago, I basically went like 7 straight days just checking my phone and checking my email, which for me is work too, because that's where I do a lot of my work and promoting our program and our ideas and things like that. So I by last week, by like early to mid last week, I was definitely feeling a little burned out, and I realized it's because I didn't really ever shut off the last week. So, I think I took maybe like an hour or two. I think I actually took a nap one day, which I haven't done in a really long time. Or I think I might have lied down. I don't know if I actually fell asleep, but I at least like rested. So I've been more intentional about kind of shutting down. Otherwise, I'm just scrolling and I'm checking my phone nonstop. But I digress. So basically, the weekends are just kind of free. I still follow the same eating, the same nutrition on the weekends. And if we go over to someone else's house right now or out to a restaurant, I just don't eat. We did have an anniversary dinner recently. So our anniversary was recently, and we went out to eat. We live in Madison, Wisconsin, so we decided to go to a place that we haven't been before, which was the Tornado Room here in Madison. It's a very well-known steakhouse, a very nice establishment where they serve very good steak and seafood. And it's in a great location in Madison. It's right in downtown Madison. For those who haven't been to Madison before, the downtown area is one of the nicest areas. The Capitol building is right down there. They have like the Capitol Square. They have a couple of well-known streets right there. One is State Street. It's a street where you can't drive on it with a car. So, there's a bunch of people always walking down State Street. There are a bunch of shops. There are a bunch of stores. There are a bunch of restaurants and places like that all along State Street. So it's a very popular place. There are also a couple of lakes downtown. So a lot of people like to be out by the lake. The University of Wisconsin is down right next to downtown as well. It basically all merges into one. So, the campus for UW is right down there, and it's definitely a beautiful area. So just in general, the downtown area is very nice to be in. And the Tornado Room is right off the Capitol Square. So it's at a very nice location, very scenic around it. And we walk into the Tornado Room, and I had already looked at the menu ahead of time and kind of had it planned out. So I just want to walk through kind of how I planned out the day. So basically what we did was we walked in, we got seated, and then it was funny. We actually had a pretty nice, pretty good server. He walked in, and when he first started serving us, he just walks up to us and he's like, "Hey, how are you crazy kids doing tonight?" So my wife and I kind of both looked at each other and we're just like, "Oh, does this guy know one of us?" And then we both realized, "Oh no, he doesn't. He's just, that's just kind of his personality." And he was a really, really cool guy. Definitely very, very conversational and helped us out. Made sure we gave him a good tip at the end of the night. But I'd looked at the menu ahead of time, and I planned on having a 16-ounce steak because that's a lot of protein, and I wanted a lean steak. So I asked the server between the sirloin steak and the New York strip, which one's leaner. He said the New York strip, so I got that. And then on the side, you can order a side. So I didn't get like potatoes, or I didn't get French fries or anything like that. I ended up getting green beans, and I asked if they could be steamed green beans. And I was just like explaining all this to the server and asking for all these special things. And my wife eventually just says, she's like, "Just so you know, he's training for a photo shoot." And the server's like, "Oh, I got you now." Because you've probably done it too. If you're a fitness person listening to this podcast, you're at a restaurant and everyone else is just like, "Oh, I'll just have this." And you can always tell who the fitness people or the health people are, because they're always like, "Oh, can I have this and but not this? And can I have this instead?" And I'm that guy, but I'm okay with being that guy because it's just 30 seconds, and then you're able to make much healthier choices. So anyways, was looking through the salad. I asked if I could have just the salad, no croutons, no raisins, anything like that. I asked for the dressing on the side. I ended up having just the salad. And then for the green beans, I always know that when they have veggies, they always douse it still in butter and oil. So I just asked, can I just have them steamed? So we brought them over steamed. So we had a nice meal, really enjoyed the New York strip, enjoyed the green beans, enjoyed the salad, because I was only 5 weeks out at this point. And typically, I don't eat out at this point leading up to a photo shoot, but I chatted with my coach, and I'm usually pretty good about keeping things under control when I'm eating out. So my coach gave me the blessing and said, "Yep, go ahead, have a anniversary dinner out with your wife." So I'm pretty sure I actually like way under ate, because I actually lost like a pound or two the next day, because all I had leading up to that was just one meal. I had my 440 calorie meal delivery service meal about mid to late morning that day. So that was all I had. Sure, I was a little bit hungry, but again, hunger isn't an emergency. So I just saved my calories for later in the day. Then as I was talking to the server, it came up in conversation that it was our anniversary. And then he ended up very nicely bringing over a slice of chocolate cake to us. And I had still pretty hungry at that point, had a slice of chocolate cake in front of me. And I said to myself, "It looks good, but I'm not eating it right now. It's not a part of my plan." So there you go. More for my wife. She likes chocolate cake, so she was able to have it and enjoy it. Then went home, and then didn't have or eat anything after that. So that's what I did on eating out. Was I really planned in advance, and I made sure that I asked for kind of special things, and then the server was able to accommodate them. The cook was able to accommodate it, and it was totally no big deal. And I was still able to enjoy a nice anniversary dinner with my wife without feeling like I was super deprived. Still got a super nice juicy 16-ounce New York steak, New York strip steak, which for me was really great, and we had a good time. So that's kind of what I've been doing for my photo shoot. What does it look like the next 4 weeks? So the next few weeks, like a lot of people think, like the last couple weeks, you're starving yourself, you're killing yourself with cardio, you're eating a trail of your own tears for dinner, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Every time I've ended a photo shoot, like the last couple of times, or a cut for a photo shoot, I've been at 2,000, 2,200 calories, somewhere in that range. So I still eat plenty. Again, though, I haven't gone through severe like restrictive periods. If you've done a lot of like severe restriction and things like that in the past, that can damage your metabolism. So that's why we do not recommend, even though you get short-term results where you lose a bunch of weight when you severely restrict your calories, it doesn't work long-term, because it can damage your metabolism long-term. So, the next few weeks, I'll just do my regular weekly check-ins with my coach. I'll do progress photos. weight measurements. So I always do waist measurement once a week. I weigh myself every day, first thing in the morning before I eat or drink anything, after I go to the bathroom, and then I weigh myself just in my boxers. And I'm just going to make sure the next few weeks I take care of my physique, shave body hair, trim my facial hair, get a spray tan, just make sure everything is looking and feeling good going into the photo shoot. So that's essentially what I do. There's nothing really massively different with the nutrition. Maybe a day or two out, might switch up a couple things just to make sure I'm coming in fuller, more muscular for the actual show. But training pretty much stays the same. Nothing is really major or different. Again, I'm not training for a major bodybuilding show or anything like that. So for me, as long as I, look good, that's all that I care about. I don't need to pose or anything like that. That's one thing when I did my physique show. Not only do you want to look the part, you also need to practice posing. I remember the first time I attended a bodybuilding show, a few months or maybe even a couple months before I did my own bodybuilding show that I did in 2016. I attended a show in Chicago, and I really realized how important posing was, because you could really, even though a lot of people look similar, the ones who posed the best always did the best. But for what I'm doing in a photo shoot, I don't need to worry about posing, hitting a front pose or a side pose or a back pose or anything like that. So all I need to work on is just getting the physique, and then I'm good to go from there. So this is just giving you an insight into what things look like for me right now, my training 4 weeks out, my nutrition 4 weeks out, kind of my mindset and overall approach. Things may change in the next few weeks, keep you updated, keep you posted. But, basically the purpose of this podcast is just give you an idea of what it looks like for someone who's training to have a great physique, kind of what things look like as far as lifestyle goes, as far as habits go, as far as nutrition, as far as training. It's obviously going to vary depending on the person. This is just what works for me at this moment in time that my body has adapted to. Hopefully you have at least one or two takeaways from this. Again, if you'd like to grab your free weekend eating checklist, all you need to do is go down to the show notes, join our Total Life Fitness community Facebook group. We'll get you the guide, and then you can make sure that you are staying on point on the weekend and just staying healthy in general. We have lots of other really cool trainings in that group as well on, easy meal prep ideas, how to build out your own meal plan if you're a busy parent, how to build muscle, all those things. So it's all in there, and it's all free. All you have to do is join our Total Life Fitness community Facebook group. So hopefully this has been helpful. If you'd like to connect further, again, just go in the show notes. We have all our other links, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere else you can connect with me or find out more about what it is that we do. And until next time, we'll chat soon.